Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And an incredible scenes down in Durban. The Stormers have grabbed a last-minute draw against the Sharks as the game finished 22 points apiece after a penalty try following a deliberate knockdown by Apelele Fassi gifted the Stormers the 7 points they needed to grab a draw. And they were behind the entire game. So it's a pretty remarkable result. They came from behind to beat the Bulls last weekend and now came from behind to grab a draw against the Sharks. Before we break the game down, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. And let me know what you thought about the game. Because I think it's a game where the Sharks will look at it and think, how have we thrown this away? And the Stormers will sit there thinking, we've actually managed to, look, they had a lot of possession, they had a lot of opportunity, but they probably would have felt that, that would be a fantastic result for them to have grabbed that. But if we look at the game itself, it started early with Lekanya try in the 3rd minute, and it was all from a turnover ball. The Sharks' intensity from the kickoff was very impressive, and they literally counteract, recycled the possession, and went over in just the 3rd minute. However, things got a bit complicated when Lekanya was then sin-binned about 17 minutes later on the 20-minute mark. The Stormers, unfortunately for them, couldn't really take advantage of the situation. They took 3 points, but then conceded another 3 points while he was off. So there wasn't actually any harm done by the time Lekanya returned to the field. Buddha Chamberlain will be frustrated because he left, call it about 8 points out there. He did get a drop kick, which was very impressive, but he let the penalty clock run down on occasion. He also hooked 2 probably pretty convertible chances. And Deon Fourie then got a yellow card towards the end of the first half. And just after that, the Sharks managing to get that drop goal. So they went to half time, 11 points to 3 up, which was quite close for, I think, how well the Sharks were playing. But a pretty scrappy game in terms of far too many handling errors and a couple of mistakes were creeping in. And we sort of hoped for a more polished second half, which wasn't really the case. In the second half, very early on, we saw a bit of moment of magic. Apelele Fassi putting the ball in behind for Makazole Mapimpi to run on and score another try. He's got 15 tries in his last 17 games to make it 16 points to 3. And after then, Buddha Chamberlain then added a penalty in the 50th minute. At 19 points to 3, it's a long way back for the Stormers. But Warwick Galante came on the park and once again changed everything. Brock Harris departed, came on as well. Sazi Sandi was being absolutely taken apart. The Sharks scrum made mincemeat of poor Sazi Sandi, who had a very rough day at the office. And they were winning penalties almost every single scrum. But the Brock Harris substitution and the Warwick Galante substitution changed the game because all of a sudden the Sharks didn't always have that sort of scrum dominance that would always put them on the front foot. And Warwick Galante injected some much needed creativity and pace into the game. And he did very well to sort of go down the blind side, draw in 2 defenders, and then pop the ball out to Damien Willemse, who then finished a superb try in the 52nd minute. Moni Liebach then missing the conversion. Buddha Chamberlain, however, managed to respond 22 points to 8. And the Sharks had lots of opportunities, in the Stormers' half, and had kicks a goal that they missed to try and put the game to bed, but they couldn't. And as a result, they allowed the Stormers this opportunity to get themselves back into the game. And everything did sort of try when Andre, in fact, 2 penalty tries. The first penalty try came from Andre Hugo Venter when it was a rolling maul that the Sharks couldn't stop. And then Kutan Kuno then deliberately bringing him down to stop the try. And that was the first yellow card of 3 in the final 10 minutes. And after that, the Stormers just kept going. They kept plugging it. Spirin Corsi then got sent off in the 77th minute after Warwick Galante had stabbed the ball ahead. And Spirin Corsi was judged to have changed lane and impeded Sibera Sinatla. That's what gave the Stormers the opportunity to kick to the corner. And after a couple of phases, Warwick Galante once again drawing in 2 players, trying to throw the offload. There were 2 Stormers players outside him. There were no Sharks players. Apelele Fassi came through, deliberately knocked it down. It was then awarded a penalty try, and Apelele Fassi was given a yellow card just for good measure. So if we look at the stats, though, the stats, you'd think the Stormers should have been more competitive if you're looking purely on the stats. 54% of the possession they had all the chance, but the Sharks' defense was proved a little bit harder to break down. Although having said that, the Stormers did score more tries, but there were 3 penalty tries. So territory-wise, 46% for the Stormers, 54% for the Sharks. 2 tries to 3, 3 penalties to 1. The Sharks ran more meters, but the Stormers beat more defenders. The Sharks had more gain line carries, they had more clean breaks, but the Stormers had more passes and more offloads. They won more turnovers. 16 tackles missed from the Sharks, 62 made, a 74% success rate. So, not good enough really, but they did only concede one try in open space. Stormers, 81% tackle success rate. But, for the Sharks, goal kick success rate of 3 out of 8. 38%. You don't win games with 38% goal kick success rate. You get one of those. It was 3 out of 8. It's 4 out of 8, which is still pretty diabolical. You still win the game. And the Stormers had half. They only had 2 to make because of the 2 penalty tries. Ruck success rate was pretty even between the two. Lineouts were a bit sketchy on both sides, but the scrums as well. Once the Brock Harris came on, the Stormers started to find a way into the game. I thought top performers, if you're looking at the likes of Oxen Chair, I thought he was fantastic. He carried the ball 4 times to very good effect and scrummed very well. I thought Grant Williams was a bit of a live wire scrum off stay. He made 41 meters with a very good clean break, beating 4 defenders there. Michael Zulma-Pimpy was characteristically very solid. Upleader Fassi was full of running. But I thought Warwick Galant really did change things for the Stormers when he came on. A couple of important interventions as well from Hershey Yankees. So, it wasn't the most orthodox game of rugby in terms of really good discipline, really good skills, really good handling, but it made for a very entertaining encounter. So let me know what you thought about the game down in the comments below. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon.